Alright, it says I'm live. I'm gonna hope I'm live. I probably look tired. That's kind of a trait when you're doing a live stream at for me 1:07 in the morning, but that's besides the point. Cause I was realizing, hey, um there's all the Congress has recently came out with a interview. Well, not an interview, more of a meeting. It was talking about unidentified aircrafts, and I've been seeing it literally everywhere. And I realized, hey, I should probably come in and begin looking at this and reacting to this. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to react to it live. Now you can watch it live or you can watch it elsewhere. I don't, you can watch it now, you can watch it later. People probably see this when they come awake tomorrow, or I don't know, maybe people are just as insane as me and are up at past probably when they were supposed to go to bed. But enough dilly dallying. So I found the whole uh, conference right here. There we go. So it's now I won't be randomly pausing this throughout the duration of it, so I can add in my input on it. Now, let's get into it.
The subcommittee hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, will come to order. Welcome, everyone. Without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. Additionally, without objection, the following members are waived onto the subcommittee for the purpose of participating in today's hearing. Mr. Burchett of Tennessee, Ms.
I'm going to make sure audio is going through.
Luna of Florida, Mr. Getz of Florida, Mr. Burleson of Missouri, Mrs. Ocasio-Cortez of New York, and Mr.
Okay,
Olas of Tennessee.
you guys have
Without
a
objection, so ordered. For today's subcommittee hearing, both the chair and ranking member will have 10 minutes for opening remarks. We may both be giving some of those minutes to other members of our party. I'm now going to recognize myself for 10 minutes. I'm actually going to try to get out of here in about 4, and then we'll give it to some of my friends over here. Good morning and welcome to the most exciting subcommittee in Congress this week, the Subcommittee on National Security.
I like how he kind of sounds enthusiastic about it. I mean, this is basically them talking about it and them confirming that yes, aliens do exist. We're not alone, which we all kind of knew that. But now that we know, and we don't know how long the government's known, so we could be having conversations with aliens. We could already be talking to non-human life forms, and just kind of crazy to think about. Now get that we're getting confirmation that we are not alone. I mean, we had to find some other intelligent life forms. At one point we had to. Okay, get back into it.
The Border and Foreign Affairs for discussion of unidentified anomalous phenomenon. I'd like to thank the brave military pilots and personnel, such as the witnesses on the panel today, for sharing their stories on how they've engaged UAPs, which has brought attention to this matter. Curiosity and speculation from all walks of life have generated interest in studying what UAPs are and what threats they may pose. I will say that when I was younger,
Is that just a glitch? Nope, that was
Younger in
incorrect.
school, I read a book, a 1966 book called Flying Saucers, Serious Business, and for a while, when I was a little bit younger, I thought it was the most important issue out there. The lack of a transparency regarding UAPs, which was one of the themes of that book, um, in any event, it's led to interest in studying what UAPs.
Bro had a Joe Biden moment. At least they didn't begin talking about how, in order to win the Civil War, Jesus needed more airports. I don't know if that exists in an interview he did, but we all have to agree Joe trips over his words too much. Anyway, off topic. I'm gonna have get back into it.
UAPs are and what threats they pose. The lack of transparency regarding UAPs has fueled wild speculation and debate for decades, eroding public trust in the very institutions that are meant to serve and protect them, as is evidenced by the large number of people we have here. I also want to point out in 1966, President Gerald Ford claimed to have seen a UFO, and in 1969 in Georgia, Jimmy Carter claimed to have seen a UFO.
So they're saying that these important figures in history have seen UFOs, but we have footage, we have all this stuff that already confirms that. We, just, we appreciate that you're giving us more examples, but you're telling us stuff we already know. Get into the amount of stuff the U.S. knows about and how much we have of them.
This has led Congress to establish entities to examine UAPs. The National Defense Authorization Act of 2022 established the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, to conduct or to coordinate efforts across the Department of Defense and other federal agencies to detect, identify, and investigate UAPs. However, AARO's budget remains classified, prohibiting meaningful oversight from Congress. In addition to AARO's efforts, NASA is leading an independent study on UAPs to identify how UAP data is gathered from both civilian.
Okay, I'm positive it's too much. Let's be honest here. NASA's been divvying into this longer than the government. Let's be honest here. It's NASA. It's basically their job to know everything that they can about space. They have and have to have done more into this over the years than the government's done.
Civilian and government entities that can be analyzed to shed light on the topic. However, despite these offices being established, there lies a pressing demand for government transparency and accountability that cannot be overlooked. And that's been a problem that's been around for 50 years. The Biden administration handling of the Chinese spy balloon that violated U.S. airspace is one example how the government is not prepared for these. The Biden administration.
Um, no, we weren't prepared, but noticed how once it was spotted, we had fighter jets on it immediately. The Chinese spy balloons, they didn't last long. We still blew them into oblivion. So, if we spend even more money into a air defense system across the entire US and probably station it all in Canada because that would be very useful. Um, but that means more money the US does not have because this is off topic, but now how much is the US in debt for? How much is US in debt? Okay. $32 trillion. I will show you this. $32 trillion has been spent, and that's how much we've taken, and that's the U.S. has the highest debt. Japan has the highest percentage of national debt in the world. Its annual at 200 G. But still, we have this is negative 32 trillion. We have to do something about this. We got to get rid of the debt somehow because we can't continue to build up on the debt, especially with everything that's going on. The more debt we got, that won't be good for future problems. Images. No, I'm not. Sorry, I had to. We'll get back to it. Also, whenever they go for a recess, that's when I'll still gonna have it going, and I'm going to go get like some water and such. But let's get into it again.
Administration's description of events has shown that the government continues not to be forthright. Between the Chinese balloon being shot down and 2 UAPs subsequently shot down following the event earlier this year, the U.S. government spent $1.5 million in taxpayer dollars on missiles, yet we have seen little clarity from the Biden administration. We must demand transparency from the Department of Defense, our intelligence community, and our defense industry on the UAP work. We're going to ask some questions about that today. Congress recognizes the subject of UAPs is multifaceted and requires a careful, data-driven approach. Today, we'll seek clarity from these witnesses' testimonies, or we'll seek clarity as to what can be done to improve reporting for military and civilians and remain committed to objective inquiry. Congress should.
Something tells me they are going to begin. Someone's going to suggest making an alien number hotline. They're going to get too many calls if they do that. That's if someone says that. I'm not going to be surprised. Not at all.
Should work to ensure that knowledge is not driven by fear. Today, we are not just debating the existence of UAPs, we are deliberating on the principles that define our republic, which is a commitment to transparency and accountability. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today about ways we can improve government efficiency and openness when it comes to UAPs. I thank each of you for your presence here today and for your dedication to safeguarding the interests of the American people. I look forward to your testimony. Now I'm going to turn it over for 2.5 or 3 minutes to Representative Burchett from Tennessee.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've...
No, my live stream, my channel, no.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. I want to thank everybody for making this happen today, and I want to remind everybody this is a nonpartisan issue. This has nothing to do with party politics. I think the cover-up goes a lot deeper than that.
How do politics somehow has to do anything with aliens? Well, last time I checked, unless we're talking about the most recently elected alien president or overlord or leader or complete dictator, how would politics have anything to do with that? Yes, the U.S. government's been trying to cover it up, but evidence has clearly shown they have done a horrible job of doing so. Anyway.
I also want to thank my colleagues, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, sitting beside me here, Jared Moskowitz, my friend across the aisle, has an incredible mind, and I'm anxious to hear his questions. My buddy Eric Burleson, and it's not in my notes here, but Matt Gaetz. If it hadn't been for Matt Gaetz, myself, him, and Luna would still be down at Eglin Air Force Base trying to get some answers. He's got an incredible legal mind. Also, I know I saw it in the crowd there, George Knapp, my buddy Jeremy Corbell. They're not witnesses, but they've provided some statements on this subject, and I seek unanimous consent to enter those statements into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
Also would like to enter in, I understand now that this is unclassified and it's public record, but as we all know, that's sometimes difficult for the public to get a hold of. A report, Defense Intelligence reference documents, advanced space propulsion based on vacuum, space-time metric engineering, some light reading for some of our members.
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. Knapp wrote, since 1969, the position our military has been that UFOs pose no threat to national security and are.
So, hang on, I'm gonna stop here for a second. When you hear the word UFO, what does everyone think? Because what I think when I see a UFO, if I type in just UFO, give me an image. I want to see. It's giving me actual. You think most people would think of this now, or this, or this with a giant beam. Then you have the footage of a mysterious aircraft. Now let me see if I can find another. Yeah, you think of a giant flying saucer that has a beam that can pick stuff up. Now, a beam, and judging by the technology they have, it would not take much whatsoever to completely get rid of. Now, this is a fake picture because this is the Pentagon. That's a UFO. This does not exist. No, that's fake. Don't. I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get back to this. But tell me, what does everyone think when they see a UFO? Because I feel like that is the most common depiction of a UFO. Okay.
Are not worth.
Sorry, if anyone in chat, I've not had it pulled up, so give me a second. Um, has anyone been in chat? And no one's been in chat. Okay.
Worthy of further study. I'd say that's the biggest understatement of the decade. He also goes on to talk about the dismissive attitude. It's at odds with what was revealed in documents, reports, and internal memos. And Mr. Cabral says, as he writes these words, the UFO is emerging as a major topic of global importance. I can state that as a
I just got him head down. And that's my question.
fact out there. I met a fellow who came in here all the way from Denmark to be here for this.
But they aren't security because security would hopefully be wearing matching suits, but I don't.
Meeting. So this is huge. This is worldwide. I think we suspect what's going on, but I'd also like to thank the members of Congress who have supported our efforts to make this hearing happen. Some have even confided to me that they've had UFO sightings of their own. Those members, of course, some of them wish to remain anonymous, and I'll keep it that way. But also, finally, I'd like to thank these three brave witnesses here. They took an oath. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and dadgummit, they're doing it. And we owe them a debt of gratitude.
Is this all audience? So, okay, so these are three witnesses, I'm assuming. You have press. You have this is just sad. All these empty seats. That's just sad.
Y'all quit clapping. You're cutting in on my time. Just kidding. These folks, they've got nothing to gain from this, and I think you're going to find out that they've endured quite a few slings and arrows. We need to remember them in our prayers and their families.
I can't stop focusing on how pale his face is. It looks like he just seen a ghost.
I'm thankful to them for their honest testimonies. They have done interviews and appeared in documentaries like Accidental Truth to get their stories out there, and now they are all here to testify under oath for Congress. It's been so difficult to get here.
Unless it's on, is it weird that so shows, right? Usually everything's on cable, right? You would assume. Um, I'm pretty sure cable's literally going out of business. There will be little to no companies left that do cable. There ain't no way.
Get here today, I said, in the Baptist church, we'd say that the devil's in our way, and the devil has been in our way through this thing. We've run into roadblocks from members, from the intelligence community, the Pentagon. I proposed legislation to go in the FAA.
Because they don't want the public to panic. Because this right here, they are actively confirming aliens' existence. And what this is going to do is either cause mass panic, or it's going to get, well, it's not only going to give everyone clarity, there's a good chance it will give everyone mass panic, and the government cannot do anything that would really help with the mass panic, because with mass panic comes riots, protests, etc. There, it wouldn't be friendly for long. Anyway, back to it.
Reauthorization that just said if an airline pilot has a sighting, that when he makes that report to the FAA, that it would come to Congress. But I was told that the intelligence community did not like that, and the amendment was not even heard in committee. I think it's time for this country to take back our country. We need to tell the folks at the Pentagon they work for us. Dadgummit, we don't work for them.
Okay, that's fairly true. At least he's speaking facts, but I don't. He's reading it all off of paper. You can see it in his glasses. Do I have to pull out? Do I have to? Oh, let me just. Let's get this man's glasses. Well, I'm gonna. Yeah. It's all blur. Can I make it not blur? You can. I'm looking at it. You can see the white. You can see outline of paper. He's reading it all off of a piece of paper. Do you not find that slightly, slightly?
Not even heard in committee. I think it's time for this country to take back our country. We need to tell the folks at the Pentagon they work for us. Dadgummit, we don't work for them.
Well, he is continuously looking down. He's reading it all. Someone handed this to him and said, "Read this." Nothing else. This is scripted. I swear. I mean, obviously, you have to have your information laid out for you to read. But when you're making a point, you don't want to be looking down, reading it like you can hear him pause so he can rethink of what he just read. You don't write down something like that. You keep that in your head and then you say it.
And that's exactly the point. This is an issue of government transparency. We can't trust a government that does not trust its people. We're not bringing little green men or flying saucers into the hearing. Sorry to disappoint about half you.
Little green man. And
Y'all. We're just going to get to the facts. We're going to uncover the cover up, and I hope this is just the beginning of many more hearings and more people coming forward about this. And I yield back the remainder of my time. I think is it to Representative Luna, Mr. Chairman, or is that?
Yeah, we'll call Ms. Luna for her statement.
The circumstances.
I still can't get over how sad this just looks. There's one down here, one here. There's 3 seats in between. What is? Are they over here? They ain't doing. What? Who are the people in the back? You got 2 right here. You got people right here. I'm assuming you're more press. You look like a lawyer, and you look like you don't get paid enough to be there. Anyway.
Circumstances surrounding UAPs has captivated the attention of the American people for decades, ingrained in even the minds of our nation's leaders from Jimmy Carter to Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton to Donald Trump, Marco Rubio to Chuck Schumer, John Radcliffe to National Security Council officials. Yet from Roswell, New Mexico to the coast of Jacksonville, Florida, the sightings of UAPs have rarely been explained by the people who have firsthand accounts of these situations. This is largely due to the lack of transparency by our own government and the failure of our elected leaders to make good on.
Hey, can you get me some Taco Bell? Yeah. You want lists order? I'm just hungry. I don't know why. Because it's past 11:30 at night.
Good on their promises to release explanations and footage and mountains of overclassified documents that continue to be hidden from the American people. This isn't just how I feel. In fact, the American people.
Mrs. Luna, are you suggesting that we declassify all documents containing anything to do with extraterrestrial technology encounters? Because that sounds like that's too much information for anyone to hold. Even the U.S. government. We have enough problems to worry about here on Earth, let alone all the problems that are going to be happening now that we're going to space. We're going to put people on the moon and make them live there. People are going to be on Mars and live there. We are about to become a multi-planetal species. And well, I'm getting off topic. This is something I should talk about on the podcast, which I will be doing another episode on, hopefully on Thursday. I'm gonna get back into it.
People largely believe that the government has actively covered up the truth about UAPs.
Yes, the government has. If you say they have not, then you are lying and are obviously reading this off of a piece of paper, as your eyes clearly pointing down behind this very convenient wall. No? Okay.
One poll in particular found that 68% of Americans believe that the government is hiding information about UAPs and not being honest about what we know about them. And from my personal experience, I believe the same thing. Another poll found that nearly half Americans believe that the federal government is doing a very bad or somewhat bad job of dealing with reports of UFO sightings. As Representative Burchett just referenced on the FAA bill that just went through, you can tell that that's exactly happening. Considering the thousands of testimonies and videos taken on people's phones and eyewitnesses' accounts made by credible witnesses such as doctors, pilots, scientists, and active duty service members.
Okay, I'm sorry. But this dude's perfectly fine. This dude's, I don't know, looks like he's just standing there. This dude's over here looking like he's seen a ghost and looks like he's praying. Someone explain to me why he has his head down looking down at the ground, but this one This guy is perfectly normal. I'm assuming this guy is because I can't see behind her head. But that's for some reason where my focus is going.
It is unacceptable to continue to gaslight Americans into thinking that this is not happening or that the potential of intelligent life forms exists other than humans. Even more alarming is the fact that these eyewitnesses are many times service members and have no assurance that their lives will not be negatively impacted or even harmed by their experiences. In being an active duty service member working on an airfield, I've had conversations with many pilots where they were in fear of coming forward for retribution and or being taken off flight status. How do we know this? Because the government has said nothing to assure us otherwise. They have also did nothing to calm the concerns.
Where did the lady in white come from? She looks like the average school nurse in every movie that has a high school. School nurse, bam. Hospitals, bam. The classic white. And the white stains so easily. Why do they use white? That's not even on topic. Well, I'm gonna get back on topic before I go off on a rant.
Of over 20% of Americans who have reported to have seen UFOs or UAPs. We are simply told not to question the government and that the government has it under control. Today is the first hearing of its kind where we will attempt to get down to the bottom of what is actually happening with UAPs. But we will hear from people who have had personal sightings rather than Pentagon bureaucrats who have always been sent to stonewall our investigations. Just so that the press knows and the people know, we were even denied access to a classified briefing in a SCIF prior to this hearing due to the amount of hoops that we had to jump through to grant temporary clearance to witness Grush, who has knowledge of classified information. It is time to have an open-minded discussion on this topic, to hear the evidence and understand the magnitude of what this means, not just for our nation, but for humanity. Thank you, Chairman. I yield back.
Burrow's over here about to watch some TikTok. Just mysteriously pulls out his phone. He's about to watch some TikTok. Burrow's bored already.
The rest of my time.
Join large-scale battles with military vehicles. The online
Now, this ain't Conflict of Nations, not sponsored,
action
but they
game
should
War Thunder
sponsor.
has received a major update.
Shut up. This isn't Conflict of Nations. Hashtag not sponsored, but I really wish they would sponsor me because I will do nothing but talk about that game.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank you and Mr. Burchett for bringing this topic to my attention. Now we'll recognize National Security Subcommittee Ranking Member Garcia for 10 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank first our witnesses for joining us today. I want to begin by thanking you all for your service to our country.
How old is this man? He looks like he's between 25 and 35.
And for sharing your voices today and your courage to be here as well. To Mr. Graves.
Bro used like half of the gallon of hair gel just to make it stay like that.
Particularly grateful to you to spend some time that we had for you to share with candor some of your experiences, so I appreciate that as well. I do want to thank all the members of our subcommittee today and also those that are here and have waved on for their incredible interest in this issue, particularly to Congressman Burchett. I know that your leadership has brought us to this place today, and I want to thank you for that, as well as everyone else that's been engaged in this work. I also want to thank the oversight staff, who I know has been working very hard to ensure that today's hearing is serious, that it's transparent, and that it also provides appropriate answers, as our oversight body always demands. Now, it's really important that we're here in a bipartisan way to have this conversation, which really, to the heart of it, is about national security and key to the subcommittee's core purpose. This is the subcommittee on national security of the Oversight Committee. Now, our witnesses will testify today that UAPs have posed a serious safety threat, and we must understand this. More broadly, we're dealing with real questions that get to the heart of our faith in government.
I'm gonna go get me a drink. I'm gonna have this going, but I'm gonna mute my mic because I'm gonna have an earbud in so I can continue to listen to it. I just want to make sure you guys can't seriously hear me just gulping down my drink. So,
Faith in our institutions, as we all know, is at an all-time low. Partisanship and alternative facts make it too easy to doubt narrative or our institutions. But this hearing will offer the public unique perspectives, building on years of reporting by both federal agencies and the independent media. Now, some of the earliest reporting on this issue was a groundbreaking 2017 New York Times report, which revealed research, as we know now, on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or as many call UFOs, by the Defense Intelligence Agency. Mr. Graves and Commander Fravors' experiences with UAPs have also been documented by the public, not just by the New York Times, but CNN and many other national news outlets. Now, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence has published public reports documenting UAPs, and on June 9, 2022, NASA announced that the agency is commissioning a study to, of course, examine unidentified anomalous phenomena. Now, the sheer number of reports, whistleblowers, and stories of unidentified anomalous phenomena should raise real questions and warrant investigation and oversight. And that's why we are here today. Now, pilots have reported encounters for years. Now, because of the stigma around reporting these incidents, we still don't have a complete picture of actually what's going on, particularly as our witnesses will testify on the civilian side, and that is a real problem that we have today in the country. Now, it's very important that we show that Democrats and Republicans in Congress can come together in a bipartisan way to cut through misinformation and to look at the facts in a serious and thoughtful manner. If we are to advance oversight and public disclosure, we must also gain the broad support of the public. We will succeed getting facts out to the public faster if there is a broad public support as part of the process. Now, I understand fully the Department of Defense is hesitant to share information that could also undermine our national security by revealing information on the capabilities of our own aircraft, our sensors, and other sensitive material. At the same time, many people believe that we're withholding information from them, and that is dangerous also. I believe in openness and transparency. That is also the role of Congress, and I want to trust that the American people will be able to weigh the evidence and make up their own minds. Now, we have incidents where sensors, sometimes even multiple types of sensors, detect things that we cannot explain. UAPs, whatever they may pose a serious threat to our military or civilian aircraft, and that must be understood. Now, my career and training as a longtime and career educator and teacher and researcher tell me that we should never rule anything out. We know that our space, of course, is vast and undiscovered. I also want to note that Mr. Sean Kirkpatrick, director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the component of the DoD office that investigates UAP data, has testified before the Senate this year that his unit has found no evidence of extraterrestrial activity. NASA has also stated they don't have evidence of extraterrestrial life either, and we've heard this, of course.
now I'm noticing how they're saying we don't know all that NASA has, because probably what a lot of NASA has is probably more horrifying than watching a James Charles video at 3 in the morning. But they're saying going off of someone's word is not going to be good enough. NASA's job is to know stuff about space. They will know. Trust me, they know.
Of course, from some of our government agencies. And we should remind viewers and witnesses, which I think is really important, that we also cannot share classified information in public settings. But questions, of course, remain that people want to see data and information for themselves. The enormous interest in the hearing today underscores the importance of a fair and open look at the evidence from witnesses who can share their unique perspectives. Now, I know I certainly have a lot of questions, and I know that all the members of our committee do as well. We should come to this hearing with an open mind, and we should not let our existing ideas restrict us on either side. I hear over and over from many agencies the stigma around reporting and investigating UAPs prevents us from getting real answers. We know that whistleblowers have reported harassment, intimidation, or stigma as well, and this is not acceptable. If people can't report incidents which would have national security or safety implications, then that also has serious consequences for us. As ranking member of this subcommittee, I know my job would be completely impossible if whistleblowers or others feel intimidated to come before this committee. We can't be afraid of asking questions, and we can't be afraid of the truth. I'm proud to say that this hearing builds upon bipartisan work by members of the House and Senate dating many years back, which has sought to increase awareness within the Department of Defense and to mandate more of Congress of UAPs. We know the Senate is taking up an amendment to their defense authorization bill, which will create a commission with broad declassification authority, and we should all agree that that is an important step. Members of both parties and senior officials in multiple administrations have taken an interest in this issue, and we're proud to carry and build that confidence in the American people. This hearing will also not be the end of this discussion, but a new chapter and start to years and years of work that many folks, both in the public and within government, have been working on. We should encourage more reporting, not less, on UAPs. The more we understand, the safer we will be. We will hear testimony from witnesses today with a long record of service to the American people and with subject matter expertise. Our witnesses have a unique opportunity to share their perspective, insights, and their experiences with the American people. And I encourage all of my colleagues to engage with these difficult questions with an open mind and to follow the facts on behalf of our country. I also just want to say more broadly that we should look at this hearing and believe that everything is on the table as it relates to UAPs. I think an open mind is absolutely the best. I want to yield the 2.5 minutes, the remainder of my time, to the representative from Florida, Representative Moskowitz, for an opening statement. He also has been very much engaged in this issue, and I want to thank him for his leadership. Congressman.
Thank you, Ranking Member Garcia. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Tim Burchett and Anna Paulina Luna for their leadership in pushing this hearing forward. I want to thank, obviously, committee staff and their staff working on this on a bipartisan.
Okay. Feel like a kid with this recording website. I'm experimenting. That's why you hopefully saw that hair though. I was testing out something because I was fiddling with things. But first off, that's too bright of a blue for a suit jacket. Second off, it's a better haircut than whatever this guy has over here. This guy is over here trying his hardest not to smile that much. We got a back a scene. This guy looks like he's constipated. I know I'm roasting these people, but it's too true.
In this issue, and it shouldn't take the potential of non-human origin to bring us together. Additionally, I want to thank the witnesses for coming forward to share your perspectives, your thoughts, and the sightings of UAPs.
Well, seems how if especially if you were a high-ranking military officer and you came forward about sightings, something tells me there would be a really big red target on your back. And I wonder why that you only, by the looks of it, have 3 witnesses that came forward.
Unlike other hearings many times in Congress, you're not here to help a political party, but you're here to share information with the American people.
And it's like, which one is he? Is he Mr. Goldman, or is he? Is this America or Russia? This looks like a Russian. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention when it was announcing him. It doesn't matter.
And it's not something that is just going on in this administration. It's something that's spanned many administrations. For decades, many Americans have been fascinated by objects mysterious and unexplained, and it's long past time that they got some answers. The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. Those are not the words of a UFO Twitter account, though that is a direct quote from Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, that the American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. In an interview with Fox News, recent former Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe...
Not Fox News. Anything else. Just not Fox News.
...confirmed the U.S. government is aware a lot more sightings of UAPs, and that they have not made that information public. I quote, "There are a lot more sightings that have not been made public," Radcliffe said to Fox News.
quickly, why are aliens and extraterrestrial life forms so interested in us? Why would they want to come see what we're doing? Specifically, look at this world. We're killing it. There's murder every day. There's stuff I'm not gonna say because the algorithm's still a thing, and I still fear this video being taken down, so we're getting on to topics that and funny thing, no, I'm not going into the YouTube stuff, but YouTube's just weird. That's all I'm gonna say.
For me, this hearing is about transparency. We unfortunately live in a time in which many people distrust government and our institutions, and overclassification of information
Bro, right here is a model.
away from the American public or even Congress contributes to today's politics. The American people have regular questions. What are UAPs? How come the media doesn't report more on them? Are they foreign adversaries? Are they U.S. technology? Are they something else? They ask themselves, how come when a Russian jet shoots flares at one of our drones, we have perfect pictures and videos to show the American people and the world. But when it comes to UAPs, nothing. Of course, we must always protect our national security to maintain our superiority, like when stealth helicopters were only rumored to exist, but were used in the Osama bin Laden raid in 2011. But we can't allow that to be used as a shield to keep the American people completely in the dark from basic truths. The American people
Guys, I don't know what's happening.
deserve to
Everything's
hear more
just
about special access programs. Congress has a right to know if there's any unsanctioned weapons development. Satellite imagery that has not been provided to Congress. Congress created the All-Domain Resolution Office in the NDAA of 2022. In its initial analysis, there are 171 uncharacterized UAP reports, and this is the word from the report, that appear to have demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities. I believe more information is known. About the 171 instances. It's time for Congress to reinsert ourselves. I call on our military leaders and intelligence officials to release more information to the American people about UAPs. And to our military leaders, if there's nothing to conceal, let Congress go to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the Dugway Proving Ground, or even Groom Lake in Nevada. We should have disclosure today. We should have disclosure tomorrow. The time has come. Thank you, Ranking Member.
Thank you, Mr. Moskowitz, and I would yield back now.
That's not mess. That's flavor.
Thank you, Mr. Moskowitz, and I would yield back now to our chairman. Thank you.
Right. Now I'd like to introduce our witnesses. Our first witness is Lieutenant Ryan Graves. He's the Executive Director of Americans for Safe Aerospace. Lieutenant Graves is also a former U.S. Navy F-18 pilot with his own UAP experience. The next witness, David Grush, is a former senior intelligence officer with...
Okay, you cannot tell me this man right here does not. He's wearing the iconic Trump suit, red tie, blue, not blue, white collar shirt, and then black suit jacket. Has that general hair of Mr. Trump. I'm just. Anyway, sorry.
with the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and was a senior technical advisor for UAP issues. And finally, retired Navy Commander David Fravor, squadron leader who worked as a naval aviator for 18 years. Mr. Fravor has his own UAP experience known as the TikTok event. I look forward to hearing from all three of you today.
Wait, what?
UAP experience known as the TikTok event. I look forward to hearing from all three of you today. Pursuant to...
If I type in the TikTok event, what do I get? Right, the TikTok event. It's literally giving me nothing but TikTok. Okay, back on topic.
Committee Rule 9G, the witnesses will please stand and raise their right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that all the witnesses answered in the affirmative. You may be seated. We appreciate you all being here today and look forward to your testimony. I'll remind the witnesses that we have read your written statements and they will appear in full in the hearing record. Please try to limit your oral statements to 5 minutes. As a reminder, please press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it's on and the members can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green. After 4 minutes, it'll turn yellow, and the red light, when that comes on, it tells you your 5 minutes have expired. I'll now recognize Mr. Graves for 5 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you. Chairman Grothman, Ranking Member Garcia, distinguished members of the House Oversight Subcommittee on National Security, Representatives Burchett and Luna. My name is Ryan Fobbs Graves, and I'm a former F-18 pilot with a decade of service in the U.S. Navy, including 2 deployments in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Inherent Resolve. I have experienced advanced UAP firsthand, and I'm here to voice the concerns of more than 30 commercial aircrew and military veterans who have confided their similar encounters with me. Today, I would like to highlight 3 critical issues that demand our action. As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine. Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena. The stigma attached to UAP is real and powerful and challenges national security. It silences commercial pilots who fear professional.
Okay, hang on. So this guy just said that they happen more frequently than and more routinely than we think. And we've all seen what the U.S. Patriot system does. Just look at how it's helping out Ukraine. That's a topic for a different day. But you're telling me no one finds it suspicious that the U.S. Government does not shoot down these. We have everything we need to have an airlocked um, airspace. Why aren't we using it? We can make it become this and not be so open and loose. It can only be only American and the commercial flights can get in and out. We can make it so much easier, but we just don't. The government, the government's hiding too much and is doing too much, and that's giving too much information out for us.
Repercussions, discourages witnesses, and is only compounded by recent government claims questioning the credibility of eyewitness testimony. Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden. Since 2021, all UAP videos are classified as secret or above. This level of secrecy not only impedes our understanding, but fuels speculation and mistrust. In 2014, I was an F-18 Foxtrot pilot in the Navy Fighter Attack Squadron 11, the Red Rippers. And I was stationed at NAS Oceana in Virginia Beach. After upgrades were made to our jet's radar systems, we began detecting unknown objects operating in our airspace. At first, we assumed they were radar errors. But soon, we began to correlate the radar tracks with multiple onboard sensors, including infrared systems, eventually through visual ID. During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, two F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter. The mission commander terminated.
Could someone please explain to me why they did not shoot it down? Wouldn't that make sense to do? You shoot it down?
Did the flight immediately and returned to base. Our squadron submitted a safety report, but there was no official acknowledgement of the incident and no further mechanism to report the sightings. Soon, these encounters became so frequent that aircrew would discuss the risk of UAP as part of their regular pre-flight briefs. Recognizing the need for action and answers, I founded Americans for Safe Aerospace. The organization has since become a haven for UAP witnesses who were previously unspoken due to the absence of a safe intake process. More than 30 witnesses have come forward, and almost 5,000 Americans have joined us in the fight for transparency at safeaerospace.org. The majority of witnesses are commercial pilots at major airlines. Often, they are veterans with decades of flying experience. Pilots are reporting UAP at altitudes that appear above them at 40,000 feet, potentially in low Earth orbit or in the gray zone below the Kármán line, making inexplainable maneuvers like right-hand turns and retrograde orbits or J-hooks. Sometimes these reports are reoccurring, with numerous recent sightings north of Hawaii and in the North Atlantic. Other veterans are also coming forward to us regarding UAP encounters in our airspace and oceans. The most compelling involve observations of UAP by multiple witnesses and sensor systems. I believe these accounts are only scratching the surface, and more will share their experiences once it is safe to do so. In closing, I recognize the skepticism surrounding this topic. If everyone could see the sensor and video data I witnessed, our national conversation would change. I urge us to put aside stigma and address the security and safety issue this topic represents. If UAP are foreign drones, it is an urgent national security problem. If it is something else, it is an issue for science. In either case, unidentified objects are concerned for flight safety. The American people deserve to know what is happening in our skies. It is long overdue. Thank you.
Mr. Grush?
Mr. Chairman, ranking members in Congress.
What's up, guys? Anton Crilly here, and in this short video, I want to share 237 profitable products to dropship. Now,
Okay, I'm going to take this ad break as a moment to talk. So, like it says at the bottom, sorry for the lag. I don't know what's going on, and it was okay. But this is very interesting. Like this entire conversation that we're currently touching base on, I find that very interesting. Because I mean, everyone should be concerned of what's going on. And most people, they got this in front of them the entire time. They got this, nothing but watching TikToks, YouTube Shorts, scrolling through Instagram. No one's really becoming aware that much. I mean, sure, a bunch of people probably became very aware when this interview went live, but I'm just getting blown away by some of the things they're saying. And the common sense, if I was a fighter pilot in a fighter jet and I saw a mysterious object, I'm shooting it. If it's not friendly and it's not commercial, it's getting shot down. That's how it should be. Not the what the heck is that? No, it's target, shoot it.
Mr. Chairman, ranking members and congressmen, thank you. I'm happy to be here. This is an important issue, and I'm grateful for your time. My name is David Charles Grush. I was an intelligence officer for 14 years, both in the U.S. Air Force, both active duty Air National Guard and Reserve at the rank of major, and most recently from 2021 to 2025, or excuse me, 2023, at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA, at the GS-15 civilian level, which is the military equivalent of a full bird colonel. I was my agency's co-lead in unidentified anomalous phenomena and transmedium object analysis, as well as reporting to the UAP task force, UAPTF, and eventually, once it was established, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO. I became a whistleblower through a PPD 19 urgent concern filing in May 2022 with the Intelligence Community Inspector General. Following concerning reports from multiple esteemed and credentialed current and former military and intelligence community individuals that the U.S. government is operating with secrecy above congressional oversight with regards to UAPs. My testimony is based on information I've been given by individuals with a long-standing track record of legitimacy and service to this country, many of whom also have shared compelling evidence in the form of photography, official documentation, and classified oral testimony to myself and my various colleagues. I have taken every step I can to corroborate this evidence over a period of 4 years while I was with the UAP task force and do my due diligence on the individual sharing it. This is because of these steps, I believe strongly in the importance of bringing this information before you. I am driven by a commitment of both to truth and transparency, rooted in our inherent duty to uphold the United States Constitution and protect the American people. I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims. But as I stand here under oath now,
Okay, everyone, I'm sorry for this lag, but we're gonna have to continue this later when I'm probably gonna have to move everything into a closet and record, but tomorrow we're gonna be wrapping up this and then hopefully we will be touching base on a few other things. Now I'm going to attempt to get some sleep, even though I probably won't get sleep because we're going to be thinking. I'm going to be writing video ideas down. Basically, I have nothing but work that I can do and kind of have to do. Well, I hope you have enjoyed part one. Didn't know this was going to become two parts, but the internet's sucking. So